Yesterday I changed the gearbox in the Jeffrey. I put in a standard Reliant Regal gearbox, which has got the better first and second gear for the hill climbs. Got the box all in, no problems at all. Had to swap one or two components on it, you know, the top cover with the gear linkage, top cover of the gear linkage. I had to swap the rear output cover because the seal on the other one was pretty bad. That one was better. I also had to swap the front cover again because the seal, I didn't have a spare one. When I did swap that, I found that it was an earlier cover which wasn't allowing reverse to disengage because the rod was too long, selector rod, so I had to swap the selector rods. Now when I've taken that apart, I think I have dropped the part and it's going to cause me problems. I'll show you what the part is. I was cleaning out my oil tray that I dumped the oil out of. I came across this little pin. Now that's the interlock pin for the gear shift that sits in the third and fourth selector shaft. Or was it the first and second selector shaft? It's the middle one anyway. There's a ball on either side of these in the casing, and as the shaft goes back and forwards, this little pin comes into play, so you can't select that rod if that rod's moved, and vice versa, because there's a cutout that sort of pushes the ball. Well, the main rod pushes the ball, but the cutout allows the balls to move to allow the other rod to move, and once the other rod moves you can't move that one, and vice versa. So when I tipped the gearbox out to clean it out, to drain the oil out, that dropped out into the bottom unseen. The reason that came out was I had the selector rods. Here's one of the ones, other ones I've taken apart. So on that rod there, just inside that housing, is that pin which goes across, and there's a ball either side. And I think that pin has dropped into the innards of my other gearbox, and I retrieved it but didn't find it until I was cleaning up. So I need to pull that gearbox back out, strip it down, and make sure that that pin's in there so that you can't move the selector rods. This one, selector rod isn't the right one. I haven't got it screwed into place because normally that pin engages with the reverse gear. I just threw it back together so we wouldn't lose bits. I'm good at losing bits. This one is a previous one that's broken third gear on it. Stripped the teeth off the lay shaft, or the lay gear should I say, and also stripped the teeth off third gear. But that's the one that I took the rear cover. That was the rear cover that was on the gearbox I put in, but the seal was badly damaged, and the rubber mount was ripped and the centres out of it. And at the front, that's the later type cover that was on the other gearbox, which allows clearance for that longer rod to come across. The earlier ones, it's only got a raised portion there and there, and usually a shorter rod in the reverse. So the shaft, the long shaft, wouldn't work on the gearbox I was putting it on. Right, anyway, I'm going to take the engine out, or the gearbox out of the other car there, and strip it down again. That's my roller bearing clutch release. I put some bronze nickel bronze on the face as a wear surface. Okay, that's it all back together. Seems to have all the gears. Just got to put oil back in. I'll do that once I've dropped it back in the car. As you can see, I had to take off the rear cover and the front cover so I could slide the rods far enough. I had to slide the centre rod out this side to put the little interlock pin in, and then slide it back in, and then had to put the reverse rail back in with the second ball bearing on this side of it, and seal everything up. So it didn't take long at all. quite good at getting this in and out. It'll take me another hour or so to get it back into the car and all buttoned up. There are a few things to line up that come out quite easily, but are fiddly to put back in. Okay. Yeah, battery was a bit flat. I hadn't charged it since the event at the weekend, so I've coupled up my booster battery.